So my name is Paul Olbrantz. I am a lender here in the Bay Area, and it's so amazing sitting here with Tom Rapisarda. So here's the deal. The reason we are doing this is what I have found, at least in my business, is that achieving goals is absolutely amazing. It makes me feel good. But what has given me the most fulfillment in my career is actually giving back to lenders or realtors that are just starting out or maybe struggling. That's exactly what this interview is about. And Tom, who is a top, I almost called you a lender, I'm sorry, a realtor in Solano County, has so graciously agreed to give us his time, share some tips with us. Tom, how you doing, man?
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I know we've worked together for quite some time now, and I feel honored to be on here with you.
Right on, man. So let's talk a little bit about Tom. I did look up some updated numbers. 66 listings over the last 12 months for $45 million. Is that right?
That is not correct.
That's not correct. Is that?
No. As a team, it's myself and I have 3 other buyer's agents. Last year we did $130 million in production. And then
it's more than $45 million?
Oh yeah, we did $130 million as a team.
That's awesome.
And then also I run a brokerage firm, so combined numbers with the brokerage firm, I have 30 other agents total. We get about $350 million as a brokerage firm.
Okay, that I was blown away at $45 million. Okay, but those numbers are just absolutely fascinating. So tell me, man, that's incredible. So how did you and why did you get into real estate?
So both my dad and brother were loan officers. I'm like, well, let me just do the real estate side. They can send me all their business and I'll be thriving. And so I got in the market in 2006, right before the market started to crash. And so all I knew was hard work because it was newer agent. I was 23 years of age. And so I looked like a baby. And then who would trust someone with a little baby face to try to do the biggest transaction of most people's lives? So that's why I wore the shirt. I wore the white long sleeve shirt. And then I just grinded it out. My first year, hustled. I did 4 transactions. Next year, I did 4 transactions again, and I was working 50 hours a week. I was in the office every single day, and I think one of my main things is I wasn't afraid of failure, and I tried absolutely everything. I tried 10 things, 9 things didn't work, but 1 thing did work, and that's what I kept on. And then I tried 10 more things, 9 didn't work, and found the 1. And so I continued growing in that regard.
Right. That's huge. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a 10% success rate, right? And you just never gave up. That's incredible. So the first 2 years, you closed 4 transactions each year. I mean, so where was there had to be a point where you were, I mean, how does someone go from 4 transactions, working 50 hours a week, failing 90% of the time, which is absolutely amazing, right? To where you're at today? Was there a moment, was there a time that kind of changed you and changed how you looked at you were spending your 50 hours?
Yeah, so early in the career, like I said, I was working so much and all of a sudden the market completely crashed. And so I'd have a client, we'd go out there, I'd write 10, 15, 20 offers on properties, just trying to get 1 accepted, and the price point at that point was $150,000.
Right.
My commission was next to nothing. All of a sudden I eventually started growing. Where my real success came, it actually was from Zillow in the beginning, so internet leads.
Really?
So I was paying money for the internet lead, eventually started getting a few deals, but when I got the deals, I took advantage of those, and I give more of the wow factor in a transaction. I went above and beyond every single time, and then I started getting referrals from those people. So for me personally, I'm about 80% right now of sphere of influence, but I still have those internet leads to create new business coming in. So I think there's a nice mixture for new agents and also seasoned agents that have both the internet leads and then the sphere of influence.
Right.
And so I was doing quite a bit of business, and I did 70 deals 3 years in a row, and I just capped at that. I just could not get past that. And that's eventually when I heard about the core coaching. And so me, I tried everything. So someone came in and said, hey, you have to sign up for this. I'm like, awesome, let's do it. So I went to this conference, and it was really expensive. But I fell in love with the people there. And just the message that they had. And so I so focused a lot on internet leads and just getting new cold business all the time. But they're like, why are you spinning your wheels on cold business? Why aren't you focusing on the people that you actually know, they like you, they trust you?
Yeah.
And so that's when I had a huge mind shift.
Right.
And then when I was doing these 70 deals, I was doing myself and a transaction coordinator, which wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
So I was starting to get heart palpitations. I mean, it was overwhelming.
Right.
And then the core taught me how to build a team. So started with consistent, and you kind of grew from there.
Right.
And then like in 2021, we did about 250 deals as a team. So we absolutely crushed it.
What year was that? I'm sorry, I'm taking notes here.
That was 2021.
Wow.
Last year was a little bit slower because the market completely shifted. We did about 175 deals as a team. So definitely a slowdown, but I'm ramping up right now. I think it's going to be a good year in 2023.
I believe
I think
so.
everyone's going to explode in 2024. I think rates going to dip, and you're going to get those buyers and sellers back, and you get those millennials stepping up. So
yeah, I agree. Can I take you back 10 years real quick? Maybe it's longer than that. So a lot of realtors believe they're giving their clients a wow factor, right? Mm-hmm. And what is your definition of wow factor? Because clearly it's working, because you went from doing 4, getting Zillow leads. I mean, how did you make that jump from 4 to 70? That is a huge jump. I know you almost died with your heart palpitations and stuff like that, but what is Tom's version of a wow factor or a wow experience?
Yeah, let's just start with the buyer side. I think it's easier to explain the transaction, and most newer agents do start with the buyers. Eventually, those buyers will turn into sellers. But with the buyers, it's just a lot more communication, explaining the process. And then when we're going out, always having a smile, always. So for my thing, I want to be able to have them have no questions. I want to be able to over-explain, over-communicate. Mm-hmm. That way they're getting that full education. But then let's say once we're in contract, as soon as we're in contract, I send them cookies to their house. Just, hey, it's a big celebration, big congratulations on that. And then with the core, what they taught me is every Tuesday you do that Tuesday status update call. Right. So whether I've been communicating with them 5 days already that week, I still do a check-in call and says, hey, Paul, I know we've been communicating a lot, but do you have any other questions or anything else I can do for you?
That's awesome.
And 9 times out of 10, they may have a little confusion on something. So I'm right there for them. Also, once in contract, I sent out a what to expect email because, like I said, I was getting the same questions over and over again. I was failing as an agent, so I prepped this whole entire system that I sent to them once in contract, and that helped explain a lot.
Right.
And then, like when we go to the signing, I just bring like a bottle of apple cider. I put my little logo on there, and it's like it's a celebration. You want to bring champagne, great, but I do apple cider. It's not everyone drinks. Sometimes it's early in the morning.
Right.
And then during move day, we'll send a pizza and a soda to them during the move. And then also when we go deliver keys to them, we'll bring a little gift for them at the closing. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you're there every step of the way, and I believe one thing that someone should take away from that last conversation is I love the cookies. You're like and the gifts, but it's also there is usually the similar questions people ask you, and if you can create a system that's always answering that before they ask, that creates a wow system. Is that right? Am I hearing that right?
100%, and I'm glad you actually brought up systems. So I have a system called Sisu, and on Sisu, I created like every step of the way of what I would need for a buyer side and on the seller side. So it's no longer shooting from the hip, what's going to be happening next. I have a checklist. Whether it's making sure there's solar, there's flood transfer, I mean, all these things we just go through.
That's huge.
And we just start checking them off for the entire transaction. That way, every transaction is going to be completely the same.
Right. I mean, there's so much power in that. So if you're a new realtor and you don't have checklist, I think about it as, because I was getting, until the refi boom, I didn't have time, but I was getting my pilot license, and you have checklists simply because you don't want to miss anything. Right? When you're flying a plane, if you miss one thing, that could be really disastrous. But that's the same with a loan. You want to, or real estate. You want to make sure that each client is having a similar experience to get that same outcome, which clearly it's working for you with referrals.
Yeah, for the younger people getting into it, where I wish I joined a team first. When I say join a team, make sure it's a successful team, not someone that's like has an idea of wanting to create a team. Right. Because if you're able to join a team, you're actually be able to learn from people that have already done it. You learn their systems, their procedures. And then you also, when you start getting leads, they show you how to get leads, and all of a sudden you start building your database.
Right.
And then like when you're ready to go off on your own, and you have basically the systems and the leads to do so. One of my agents, Hazel Emlin, she just left our team, but she was a superstar, and she went from doing a few transactions to 2021. She did about 74 transactions.
Yep.
Last year, she did about 56 transactions, and she's top 5 in our county right now.
That's incredible.
And absolutely incredible. But I helped her get to a higher level just by the systems, procedures, and learn from someone that did it. She would have got there on her own, but maybe she didn't get there in 4 or 5 years. Maybe it'd take her 10, 15 years to eventually get there.
Right. And I'm sure she would agree with this, because Hazel's a wonderful, sweet person, that I do agree she would have got there. She has that work ethic. However, working with a lot of teams, Tom, and why I just was so excited to sit down with you is not only are you giving the Zillow leads and buyers, but you're also teaching them what Core taught you. You mentioned Core, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. What the Core has taught you and what you paid for, those systems in place. And one of the key forms I think we're going to talk about here is the Greatness Tracker. That's a life-changing thing. But before we get to the Greatness Tracker, can I ask you one thing?
Sure.
If you're a new realtor, because I totally agree, even loan officers should be working with a team if they're brand new. It's just too competitive, and there's so much to learn.
Yep.
When you're out there searching for a team, what are some great questions that you should ask a team lead before you commit to them, right? And basically say, okay, I'm yours, right? What do I do?
Yeah.
How do I become successful?
You need to make sure there are actually numbers behind it. If someone's creating a team and they've done 12 transactions, then obviously they're not at the point that they're successful enough. So you need to make sure there's enough transactions. And also, you do want to learn more about the systems and procedures behind it. Right. And then what type of lead source are they doing? Are you just opening up a phone book? Anyone knows what that is anymore?
All the millennials are all phone book. They're like Googling it right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
One thing, though, for newer agents where I saw Hazel and then a lot of my other agents succeed is if you have massive action. Like, people will be on here today, they'll hear it, but then like, oh, that's cool. It was nice to hear from someone. And then they'll go off and do their daily thing.
Right.
But if you actually get on here and actually start taking notes and actually like, oh, that's a great idea. Let me just take one idea from today. Let me go try that. And then you get another idea and try it, and actually don't put it off. Just go out and do it and make it happen.
Right.
That's where I was able to succeed at a greater rate. And that's why when I bring on agents, I need to make sure they have kind of that it factor where they're hungry. They want to learn. They want to go out and make things happen.
Yep.
I interview a lot of agents, and they'll come in if they're just not motivated and like maybe great personality, but they don't have that I want to be great factor. That's not right for my brokerage firm. That's how we're able to do so much production with such a smaller group of individuals.
Tom, you crushed it there. I mean, it's that, and I think people don't understand the definition of massive action. My definition of massive action is setting a goal, breaking it up into small manageable pieces, and repeating it over and over and over and over and over until you achieve that goal. Period. That's massive
100%.
Action. A lot of people just will make a phone call, maybe whatever, then they'll quit and they say it doesn't work. You were doing 10 things, 9 wasn't working.
Yep.
The one got you to where you were. That's incredible advice.
And with those 10 things, maybe it didn't work for me.
Right.
But don't let other people tell you, oh, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
So it may not work for me, but it may work for you, vice versa.
Right. That's awesome. All right, let's talk about this Greatness Tracker. I just want to say one thing about it. First time I was introduced to this tracker, I was like, that is the stupidest thing. Like, I could crush that. How is that going to make me, right?
Yeah.
These numbers. And this guy that told me about it was, I guarantee you, if you do this every week, you will close a lot of loans. And in your case, you will help a lot of families with real estate. So I'm going to bring it. I'm going to let you go, Tom. You talk about the Greatness Tracker, and you tell me when you want me to bring it on the screen.
Okay, well, why don't you just go ahead and bring it on the screen now, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about that.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let me just make sure one thing here.
Okay.
Share. All right, there it is. Okay, I believe you got it.
Perfect. And so what the Greatness Tracker is, it's more or less your game plan for the week.
There it is.
So a lot of us a lot of us just come in and we're like, what do we do now? We just try to think. This is actually giving you clear direction on what you should be doing. And this is to reach your sphere of influence. So I talked a bit about the internet lead. I still think you should be trying all those different internet lead sources. Just if you're newer, try to build that database.
Right.
But then you can't neglect your past clients or your sphere of influence.
Right.
Like one of my biggest referral source, and probably yours as well, Paul, should be your spouse.
Right.
Have you ever asked your spouse for business?
Right.
And does your spouse know how to refer you? You tell your spouse may be like, oh, you should use my husband. He's great, but how about this? If I tell my wife, Shawnee, hey, if you're going to connect me with someone, make the introduction. So send a text message to that person with me on there. All of a sudden, you have a group message going on. And all of a sudden, now I have their contact information. I can get the conversation started. And you got a higher probability of being able to convert a lead on that route.
Right.
And then we got the greatness tracker here. So can you scroll down to theme days real quick, Paul?
Sure. Theme days.
Yeah. And it looks like yours are going to be a little different than ours.
Yep. So this is the realtor lender.
Yep. And so for us realtors, we have on Monday, we're supposed to call our VIP clients. So VIP clients means someone that refers at least 4 deals per year. And maybe they're not referring those deals yet, but someone where you see potential for them to be able to refer you. Right. And with these people, we're just trying to get in a deeper relationship with them. And we're trying to send them business. We want them to send us business. So people think, okay, what's the VIP? Well, maybe people have a financial planner. Maybe they have a CPA. Maybe it's the person that cuts their hair. Maybe it's the person that talks to everyone in the world, and you already have a deep relationship. You just need to create that VIP and really elevate them first, and then elevate yourself. Because this isn't a me business. This is how we can elevate everyone. If we help everyone out, then we all grow together.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And then you jump over to Tuesday. So Tuesday is status update calls. We talked a little briefly about that, but any transactions you have, no matter if there's no update, no matter if it's a listing that's sitting on the market, maybe a coming soon, you're still going to do a check-in call and see if they need anything. 70% of the reason why sellers or clients will not go back to their old realtor is with lack of communication. So for me, this is my absolute number one. It's actually my most fun to do as well, because you're already in a relationship with them. What's a 5-minute phone call? And it's an easy phone call to make.
That's awesome.
And then I'll shoot you the updated greatness tracker for realtors. But
perfect.
In the middle there for Wednesdays is going to be hot and cold leads. So any leads that you're getting, hot, cold, I said every single Wednesday, and so I'll have a big list of, okay, all right, who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to try to convert that day? Then Thursday is going to be past clients. So past clients, anyone you close. And so you want to keep a database of around 400 people. Maybe you're starting out and you don't have that database. How do I get a database? Well, when I first started, I went through my parents' Rolodex. Now you may go through their cell phone. Who do they have friends that they know? Who did I go to high school with? Who are some of my Facebook friends?
Yeah.
Who are some of my spouse's friends? And then maybe the in-laws. And so you're going to build your database on that. And then what we're doing, we're trying to stay in relationship with these people. So we try to reach them out to them twice a year. And so these people in the database, I'm going to start with the A's. So 1 week, I'm going to call all my A clients. So if the last name starts with an A, I'm just reaching out. And it's an easy conversation. They're like, hey, Paul, just checking in. Are you enjoying the house? How's the kids? You got any vacations coming up? And so I think too many of us get kind of tense on making these phone calls, but we're just talking to other people. And what I like to do is actually show genuine care for people. And when I make these phone calls, I'm like, how can I bring joy to this person's life? So I like to stand up, walk around when I'm talking. I have a smile on my face, and phone calls are no longer about me. It's about how I'm bringing joy to them. And once you do that, all of a sudden these phone calls become easier and easier. And then if you go through the 26 letters of the alphabet, all of a sudden that's going through everyone in your database, and you restart again. There's 52 weeks in a year, so if you go through the ABC, you're able to reach everyone throughout the year.
That's awesome.
Twice. And then we got the VIP. So we had on our phone calls, we're supposed to call our VIPs, but then on Fridays, we're trying to get new business. So this is where we break down. Like I just go through my vendor list or people that I refer on a regular basis. It could be a handyman, it could be a painter, it could be a person mowing my lawn. And so what I'm trying to do is reach out to them and I'm trying to set up a one-on-one with them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do on the one-on-ones, I'll just take them for coffee, maybe go to their office, my office, and we'll sit down and I'm gonna start asking them questions like, let's just say it's a painter. How did you become a painter? What was your passion for it? What's some of the struggles and stuff? And then you kind of, what can I do to help build your business?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like for you? And all of a sudden, when you start showing interest in your business, because people love talking about themselves, we'll talk, and then at the end of it, they're going to start asking you questions about your business.
Yeah.
And then you want to say, hey, what can we do to build a mutual benefit where we're referring each other? And then so you kind of figure that out. And then once you get that, then we go back to the Monday phone calls, because if you meet with someone once, give them 2, 3, 4 months, they're going to forget about you. So we need to continue staying in contact with them, saying hello.
Makes sense.
And then if you do the referrals, do that triangle of trust. And so you mentioned it with your wife and your referral. So if I'm sending a referral to my painter, I'm going to make the introduction via text. Hey, Robert, meet Julie. Julie's on the text message. She's looking to get a painting bag. Can you take care of her?
Right.
And what that does, it's showing Robert that I'm all of a sudden referring business to him. He needs to feel a little bit more guilty to try to get me business as well.
Sure.
And if Robert's not sending me business, then I got to go to Robert. Hey, Robert, what's going on? I've sent you 5, 10 clients. I need at least one referral in the next 30 to 60 days. Wow. And it's only fair if you're sending them all this business. Why aren't they sending you business back?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I find and we're like with your clients, when your clients talk the most, it's during their transactions, before and during their transactions. So on those Tuesday status update calls, we're also trying to get current client referrals. So we're making the phone calls, check in, and then when they say, oh my gosh, Paul, you've done such an incredible job. I can't wait to tell my friends. They're like, oh, Paul, that's so awesome. I'm so happy you said that. Can you do me a favor? Can you just send me one referral this year?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, tell all your friends and family about me, if you put a number on it, all of a sudden psychologically it's like, all right, I need to get Paul that one referral for the year. It makes it easier.
That's such a huge point. I think very few people don't put a number on that. And on that referral, they go, hey, can you just refer someone? They go, yeah, and it just kind of goes away. But when they agree to a number, I think it sticks in their brain a lot better. I think that's an amazing point.
100%. And then let's say maybe people you haven't been in a relationship with.
Right.
I'm not getting on the phone calling them and trying to get the referral right away. I'm first trying to get in a relationship again with them. And then as you kind of gravitate through the time, and maybe I'm sending them my vendor list to add value, I'm sending little things to add value to them, then it's okay to start asking for those referrals.
Yeah. That's huge. That's, I'll tell you where I'm taking back, because I never thought of that. So from a lending perspective, for realtors out there that don't have that database, they think, well, I don't have people to call. But from a lender perspective, what I do is I do what's called manage your mortgage. So if I meet somebody that I didn't do a loan with, I ask, is someone managing your debt for you? And then we have that conversation, and I get their permission to manage their debt. That becomes a part of my database. So that's what you're saying with realtors too, is connect with your sphere and, ask that question. Hey, when was the last time your realtor went over your goals with you, with your appreciation, with you right? And then ask that permission. Yeah. Can I be your realtor? Yeah. Do you mind if I check in with you?
Absolutely.
Dude, that's awesome. All right, let me bring that back up. Wow, you just kind of floored me on that one. Let me bring this back up here. So let's go through. And then what we'll do, Tom, if anybody wants the greatness tracker, just reach out and I'll make sure I send the realtor one to you. But let's just kind of go through this first. So on the very top here, you have face-to-face. I think go ahead.
And if you can go up a little bit farther, you can see it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
And so at the end of it, you have the week total. So on this one, trying to do face-to-face. So for you, you're trying to get in front of 12 people who you think can potentially do business, or may refer you, or maybe a current client.
Right.
I think too many people get overwhelmed by seeing the number 12. Like, oh my gosh, that's not going to be, I won't be able to do that.
Right.
So let's just break it down when you're in the beginning. Maybe take one item on this sheet that you like and see what you can do. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be 12 people. Let's tweak it. Let's make it what's the number that's going to be achievable for you. Right. The more we start achieving, the more success you get, and you're going to start building on that. So maybe set with 2 people who can do face-to-face. on there. One of my coaches said, instead of having the whole sheet out, fold the sheet in half and let's only focus on Monday. What are we looking to do on Monday? Maybe one person here, maybe 3 phone calls, whatever your goals are. That way it's not as daunting of a sheet.
Yeah.
And so face-to-face for me, it's when I'm setting up appointments, or when I go out, take people to show homes. Maybe I'm at an event, I see people I run into that I know that I have done business with or would like to do business with.
Right.
So for me, I'm trying to get those 12 people face-to-face where I can see just the communication, the talk, where it may lead to something in the future.
Right. That's awesome. And then break bread.
I actually love the break bread, and this is more of the VIP side.
Yep.
And this can be as simple as taking your wife out the first time. That may be your first break bread, or you're maybe at dinner at your house, but it's somewhere where you're going out, you're actually getting in front of them, and you're having a little bit deeper of a conversation than just the face-to-face where it's a hello and goodbye. Yeah. And so this is where we try to learn more about them, and then we try to see what we can do to have a mutual beneficial referral business, or maybe it doesn't need to be mutually beneficial. Like I have attorneys where I don't send them a business, like probate and trust attorneys. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I'm able to get their properties. I'm able to have estate planners. I have financial planners. I have haulers. I have all this big list where I can make their life easier. And so I'm adding value to them. They're just sending me business, but I'm not sending them business back. So it doesn't have to be sending it back to them. It can just be one way if you're adding value to that person.
Absolutely. Okay. And then great phone calls with leads, referral partners, past clients, and current clients. I think
yeah. And so this one, you have 70 phone calls. For the newer agents, I would break this down closer to 20, 25 phone calls. When you start building, it's not just going to be very overwhelming, but this is on Monday. So on Mondays, I'm going to be trying to reach out to my VIP. So every time I reach out to them, have a conversation, I'm going to go ahead and make a note. The core tells you not to put on there if you have a voice message. I still put it on there if I had a voice message with the client. At least I'm doing my part. I'm reaching out to some people.
Right.
And then sometimes people don't like to communicate by phone. Sometimes it's just a text message. Hey, just checking in, how you doing and stuff. So I'll put the text messages on there as well. But it's just a way to keep yourself accountable. What am I doing this week? And at the end of the week, you're looking back like, oh my gosh, I crushed it this week. Or you know what? I wasn't at the level I should have been. Right. I need to do better next week.
That's huge, man. And then events?
Events is my most favorite one. So probably newer agents, it's just going out there getting seen. I think too many of like the realtors, they'll just go to realtor events, which I think is great. You get to see other realtors and stuff. But it's not like realtors are going to be sending you business if you're a realtor. So I like to go to other events outside of that. Maybe it's Chamber of Commerce. Maybe an event going to a friend's birthday party where I'm around a bunch of other people that I may be able to do business with. So those are more so my events. And then once you get a little bit deeper, then you're going to start setting up VIP events. Ooh. I don't know if we should go there now, Paul, or hold off on that. But with the VIP events, you get together a group of individuals of like-minded people. So like one of my VIP events, I try to do it every month. I have a poker party at my house. So I call 8 to 9 people who I really like and I think would have fun together. And so I bring them over to my house. And so we just have a poker party. I provide a little bit of food, $150 worth. We have to drink. We just have fun.
That's awesome.
It's a low-limit poker game, but I'm building a deeper relationship. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. Having fun with them. And if you want to take it even to a bigger, deeper level, twice a year we'll have a huge event where I have about 300 to 400 people at my house.
Yep.
And this is where I'm going through my entire database. So like coming up for Easter, we'll have I have an Easter bunny costume, and then we'll have a petting zoo at the house. We'll have a coloring station. We'll have little cookies and treats. So it costs a little bit more expensive, but it's such a good turnout. It's another way for me to stay in front of people.
Totally. That's incredible. I love the poker night. That sounds fun.
It's a lot more fun. And I recommend finding things that you actually enjoy doing because it's not going to be work. It's actually enjoyable. Yeah,
that's what I'm taking from you right now, Tom, is like every time we go to another level, you're like, oh, this is my favorite, right? I get to bring people to my house. We play poker. We have to have petting. You're making it fun, not a chore. And I think that's, that's huge, man. 1,000 videos. How?
And for realtors, it's 500, but
okay.
So I look at this when it's two ways. One, we're sending to our database.
Yep.
And we're sending to our database, what are we doing to add value, whether it's something real estate related, it could be non-real estate related. Maybe it's just to bring a smile to someone's face. It may be a funny story in your day. Yeah. And so we're just sending out a video through, like I have boom count for my CRM.
Yep.
So I'm not the best at video. So actually I have a staff member. She's like, all right, Tom, this is what you're going to be doing this week for the video. I'm like, just tell me what to do and I'm going to go out and do it. And I think the younger millennials, this is where they absolutely excel at.
Right. I think I know who it is based off how you said that. This is what you need to do. That's so funny.
Yeah. And then also, I think just somebody's putting on social media as well.
Right.
Like for me, I'm shirt and tie and kind of talking for 2 minutes, and everyone's like, "This is boring." So people are like swiping. So I'm trying to get better with my videos and make them a little more engaging, a little bit more fun. Recommend keeping it shorter. I had one of our realtors. He's like, start out with a question, and so to make it a little bit more fun, like, but something like you, Paul, like, "Oh my God, you see how low interest rates went?" And he's like, "No, how low do they go, Paul?" And then all of a sudden, it's a little bit more engaging, and they're more likely to listen. But for the 2-minute video, they're like, "All right, I'm bored now." So keep it 20, 30 seconds if you can.
That's wonderful. Love it. We covered theme days, and then we got thank you cards.
Oh, I'm horrible at thank you cards. So you want to lead this one, Paul?
Yeah, no, me too. I try. I found I'll throw some advice out there if we want to chat about it. I mean, like, and I'm not perfect at this, but where I do a lot of thank you cards is for leads, people that give me leads, and also at pre-approvals and when people get into contract. So I think I'm going to up my game on contract, maybe add some cookies or something like that too. I absolutely love that because I want people to celebrate that moment. How exciting of a moment it is to get your offer accepted. But some of the thank you cards that I do just to give people tips is that when they get pre-approved, right, I send out a thank you card with a lottery ticket, just saying how lucky I am to have you as a client. Right, I cannot wait to help you with your home. It's a little bit more clear than that, but it's really easy when I do stuff like that.
On the realtor side, like after you go on a listing appointment, you send them a card the next day. Hey, thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you. I try to put in a little personal note in there instead of just keeping it generic.
Yep.
But maybe you had a nice conversation with a person and you just send them a note. Hey, so it was so great seeing you, and your kids are thriving. You can do it after you're getting contract on something. You can do it when you have a buyer's consult. Yeah. So that scratcher idea, we had a birthday program for all our clients where we'd write a little personal note, put a little scratcher in there, hope you have a lucky day. Yeah. And we send that card out. So
that's beautiful.
I think these cards could be good. It takes a little bit too much time for me. Yep. But one of my other agents that's part of the core, what he does, he types out all the thank you cards that he wants, and his assistant will see them all in there, and the assistant will write all the cards. Yep. And they'll label it and they'll mail it out for him. That way he's just doing a quick 2-minute note and someone else handles it.
That's awesome.
But that's delegation.
That's beautiful. Then leads, right? I mean, we could do one on a lead tracker. That is so important. I think I just got to say this, Tom. A lot of mistakes. I think the biggest mistake is when I ask realtors, right, if they have cold leads and they say no. What that tells me is either you're converting 100% of your leads or you're not keeping track of leads, because buyers that were looking to buy a year ago may not have bought then but are looking to buy today, right? I just wanted to put that little plug in there. So it feeds off the lead tracker. And it's pretty self-explanatory how many leads you get in a day. How many leads do you shoot for a week, Tom?
And so for me, I have myself and plus I have my team. Yeah. So, and it depends on the lead. So you have it on there non-internet, but sometimes you got really high-quality internet leads. Sure. So I think it's okay to put on there. But
I do too.
Let's really define what is a lead. Okay. People think that has to be someone that's now ready to go, and that's not the case. It's anyone that talks to you about potentially being a client in the future about real estate. Like I was outside, dropped off my car. We have someone here watching cars in our driveway. And he started talking to me about real estate and kind of thinking about buying. All of a sudden, okay, that's a lead. He's not ready right now, but maybe 6 months, a year from now, he'll be interested. Right. What I do, I get his information. I upload him to my CRM. And then you got to make a little note on there. Yep. Spoke with Miguel. He's thinking about buying something in the next 3 to 6 months. And then you got to do that follow-up on this person. So don't reach out to them in 3 months. Maybe reach out to them in a month and a half, and you're just doing a check-in.
Yes.
Hey, Miguel, how you been doing? Wife, kids, and stuff. So we started a little personal. And says, I know we spoke about a month and a half ago, and you're thinking about looking at potentially buying something. What? It's like, where are your goals right now? Are you still thinking of doing that? Can I help you out? Kind of lead you to the decision?
Yeah.
And then another thing with when we're asking for business, I think too many of us when we're talking to people, they think it needs to be, okay, I'm ready right now to go out and do a transaction. But I'd rather say if you have any other questions, if you have any questions, not about buying and selling right now, but any real estate questions, please give me a call. I want to be your resource. I want to be your guy to help you down the line.
Right.
And I have, even like listing appointments, I have clients like, oh, I'm not ready now. I'm going to be ready in 8 months. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So glad you called me so far ahead. Most people wait until they've already done a lot of the work. They've taken down a lot of stuff in their house, and then they give me a call. But if you give me a call now, let me walk your house. Let me give you advice what we can do to make more money in your house, and maybe what you're not going to do.
Right.
Let's don't make your house look completely bare. Let's maybe help with staging. And what I do is help develop a game plan to lead them for success when they are ready.
Right.
But what do I get? I get FaceTime with them, and all of a sudden I'm putting in their head that I am their realtor. If you wait, sometimes they're like, oh, I'll call you in 8 months. Sometimes that phone doesn't ring. Sometimes they meet someone else.
Totally.
That's why I want to get in front of as many people on the face-to-face.
That's awesome. And we can do a whole nother conversation about systems, because that is the most important part of, I think, lending and real estate, both, right? Of system. So the last thing, deals. I don't think you have pre-apps, right? That's a lending thing. Maybe you do. I don't know.
No, and actually, I don't know if you can see mine, but I have mine. I've been filling it out this week. We have a listing contract. So if you get a signed listing the contract. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see it. But yeah, if you get a signed listing contract, we put it on there.
Yep.
It's not if it goes in the contract. It's just if you get that listing. Typically, listings will sell.
Uh-huh.
And then any purchase agreement.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean it closes. Just you got it in the contract. That's considered a deal for us.
So what I love about, let's tie in two things here. What I love, we started the conversation kind of talking about massive action, right? And we kind of defined what it is, a goal, small steps, broken into small steps, repeated over and over. And essentially these habits that are creating top producing realtors and lenders are really in that greatness tracker. Those are the habits that successful realtors do, right? And so that's what's so powerful about the greatness tracker. What is some of the, what I found when I first started doing the greatness tracker, Tom, is like I thought I was doing so much more action than I actually was, number one.
Yeah.
I was wasting my time doing the wrong things. And that really got me back on course. But if somebody wanted to find out more about core, right, and stuff, what would you recommend?
One, I think you have to be ready for the core.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So you can just do a Google search, do the core training. You have to add real estate on there.
Yeah.
If not, it's all this workout stuff.
Yeah.
But they have 3 levels of coaching. Level 1 is where more beginners. Level 2 is when you're starting to do 30 transactions or so. And so it's going to be one-on-one coaching at level 2 and level 3, and it's just higher accountability.
Right.
So if anyone actually has questions on the core, they feel free to give me a call. I don't work at the core. They've done so much great things for my life. That's why I like telling other people about it. Mm-hmm. But if you're just starting out, I recommend getting that team, getting the systems, procedures, and trying to learn from someone that maybe has to be on the core, or maybe just start watching YouTube videos on the core showing actually what they're teaching.
Right. Yeah, I can tell you, Tom, when I first went to the core, I thought, I'm not trying to be I was so impressed with the level of success and the level of giving back in that group. And it's all about discipline. A lot of these people aren't the greatest salespeople. And you know what I mean? They're not the smoothest. I'm not criticizing. Some are extremely, right? But what they do is they follow a system day in and day out, and the results come. And it's been a magnificent journey. So, Tom, I really appreciate it.
What I like about the core, you're flying with eagles. You're around people that are thinking bigger. And like I go in there and maybe thinking small, all of a sudden they elevate you to think bigger, want to do better. And I just want to add one more thing before we get off this. One thing that completely changed my life is a morning routine. So I'll wake up at 5 o'clock. I take my dogs out for a walk. I throw on my little Tony Robbins and actually do my gratitude walk where
Yeah.
what am I thankful for in my life, and kind of that I go through, because there's so much negativity. But I'm thankful for my wife, I'm thankful for the kids, thankful for my house, thankful for my career.
Yeah.
And then take a step forward. How do I envision my day? How do I see my day in the future? What do I see for the next month? What do I see for the year? What do I see? And believe it or not, I did this since I was in my 20s. I envisioned I want a pretty blonde wife, I want 2 kids, I want a big house, I want a successful career, and I manifested that.
You did.
And then after I do that, I'd go to my workout. Workout's just it's not for the physical, it's just for the mental, to get my mind ready to go.
Yeah.
I like to do 20, 30 minutes of an audiobook, more of the kind of self-help book. So constantly growing, because this is ever changing. You got highs and lows. You want to continue trying to do better yourself and try to keep that mind right. And then when you get to the work, 8:30 or so, all of a sudden you're ready to conquer the day, as opposed to waking up at 9, rolling out of bed, getting there at 11, and then trying to start your day. So your day is 1 in the morning.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. Don't even get me started on the Tony Robbins. I'm going to send you this video on how he tells people to conquer fear. And I don't know if you've listened to that one or not, but you do it, which is huge. So I'll send it to you.
I love that. Thank you, Paul.
Tom, dude, you're great, man. Hey, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for all the amazing nuggets. I learned a ton from this 40 minutes. And I just really appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Feel free to put my number out there if you want to call, have any questions and stuff. I'm happy to help.
I will. Awesome, man. Thanks, buddy.
Okay.